Hello and happy Sunday. This is Kelly with IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, and today is Sunday, January the 15th, and we are back at the loft. I told you all last week that that was our last week at the old Casey Kitchen Center location, and sure enough, that was it. We are not done moving out yet, though, for those of you who have been asking, but I am Kelly. This is IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. Tonight is January the 15th. We are busy moving out. Let's see. Let me see if any of you all are here yet. Hello and happy Sunday, everybody. And it's a little awkward because I'm here at the loft. So if you all are talking, I can't see it yet. I feel confident that some of you all are saying hello. Why? Why can I not see it yet? There we go. Hello, Linda from Rock Island, Illinois. It's good to see you. Hello, Loretta. So Facebook is so finkety, and hello Orlando Debbie. When we try to do this somewhere else, hello Barbara, it's good to see you. Hopefully the internet will cooperate since we're here at home at the loft instead of being somewhere with great Wi-Fi. Hello Vicky, hello Mary from Pittsburgh. Hello Sandy, good to see you. Hello Sandra from Dingman's Ferry. Again, hello Diana. Oh, if you're brand new, and hello, let's see, Mary Ann from Pennsylvania, and hello, Marlene. If you're brand new, please let us know because we would love to welcome you. And if you are brand new, we're location hopping. And speaking of location hopping, hello, John from the Cleveland base. So John is in Cleveland, Ohio today, and then he flies out to Las Vegas tomorrow. So he's going to be location hopping for the next few days. Hello, Deanna. Hello, Scott. It's good to see you. Yep, and hello Cynthia, and hello Joyce. So if you're new though, let us know because we would love to welcome you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, still say hi and hello. We'd love to welcome you just like you're here. And hello Sabrina from Woodruff, South Carolina. Hello Carol Lou. Hello Kim. And hello Elaine, and hello Deborah. It's another Sunday. I want to apologize for being so disconnected this week. We are trying to move. Oh, hold on a second. Ooh, well, Loretta went back to Weight Watchers last week and was down 5 pounds. That is fantastic. Hello, Hattie, and hello, Lynn. So I want to apologize, and hello, Andrea. So I want to apologize for being kind of disconnected this last week. We are moving from the current showroom that we have been in. It's like 4,600 square feet. I did not realize how big it was, but we're moving from that showroom into a new showroom that is 2,000 square feet. That is going to be fantastic. I'm already excited to be there. I spent a little bit of time there this afternoon, but that is 2,600 square feet worth of things that we have to get rid of. Ooh, and Barbara's down 2 pounds also. But that is like a ton of stuff. So that's a house. That is a house worth of stuff to get rid of in the next couple of weeks. And yeah, Barbara says, "Oh, my favorite place." Yeah. And Barbara, he's not here. He's in Ohio. So yeah, so he's not even here right now. And hello, Lisa from Arkansas. But yeah, so that's like an entire house worth of things to try and get rid of in the next couple of weeks. So thank you all for being patient. We've probably got 3 more weeks left. If I had to guess, about 3 to 3.5 weeks left of moving to do. But yeah, so it's a lot. It's a lot to move. Oh my goodness. And Sandra lost 4.6. That is fantastic. That is awesome. Okay, and yes, that's a lot of things to move, but the good news is, Orlando Debbie, that every time we move, it gets a little bit smaller, and hello Linda, it gets a little bit smaller every time we move, and if we move from the location that we're in now, I'm just going to burn it. I'm kidding. I'm not going to burn it. Okay, so today is January the 15th. I am Kelly with IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. If you are brand new, please go ahead and say hi and hello. We would love to welcome you. Again, if you're brand new, this is an hour long. We're going to spend the first 30 minutes talking about, hello Evie, saying hello, and hello Kathy, and talking about the we always talk about the prior week's Weight Watchers topic. And then in the second half, oh wait, let's see, Deborah says, oh, she's missed everybody and she had surgery on the 30th. Yeah. And Debbie, no, it's not a new hair color. It's because I have the wood tones behind me and because the lighting is so different. And aloha Kathy, and hello Sandra. Okay. But anyway, so what was I even saying? Oh, new people. Oh, wait. It's Tammy's first time live. Okay, so Tammy, just so you know, yes, I get this distracted. If y'all ask me a question that takes me in a different direction, I will get this distracted every single time. So welcome to you, and hello, Patty. It's good to see you. Okay, so everybody please welcome Tammy and let us know if you're new because we would love to welcome you. So this is an hour long. We're going to do the topic from Weight Watchers last week is the first 30 minutes, and then we usually do something fun. This week's second half is a little bit depressing. It's not depressing. It's okay. We'll talk about it in a few minutes, but I want everybody to stick with it. A little bit of news, for, and thank you, Deborah, a little bit of news, though, for January. So we're in January 2023. If you can believe it, we're smack dab in the middle of it. Last week I announced that was the last chat that we were going to have in the old Casey Kitchen Center location, and we have, and yes, it is the beauty of a live chat, is getting distracted and lots of other things at Orlando. Debbie, thanks for pointing that out. But so that was the last week at the old Casey Kitchen Center location. We have a meeting on Tuesday with the people that are setting up the cabinets. Of course, we'll be doing the countertops and getting everything set up in the new showroom. So I don't know how long it's going to be until we're moved into the new showroom, and when we'll be doing live chats there. But for now, we are here at the loft. So John is out of town, so it is perfect timing. So I am taking up, and hello Irma, I'm taking up my little bitty section here at home, and John's not even here to be in his way. So it's fantastic. So I'll let you all know as we get moved. And again, thank you all so much for your patience while we do that. I have literally ignored you all week. Okay, the second bit of news for January 2023 is the egg shortage news is not getting any better. Hello, Sherry. The egg shortage news is not getting any better. In 2022, apparently we lost nearly 10% of our nation's commercial laying hens population. We're going to talk more about that in the second half, but I wanted to let you know we're going to be talking about it because it's suddenly a big deal in our area, in our region. And the last little bit of news before we get going is the continuing Chef's Hat versus Discover Tab great debate of 2023 is not over yet. So long-time member Lynn from Texas, and Lynn is already here, but long-time member Lynn from Texas consulted Weight Watchers to find out what was going on because her phone still has the Discover Tab. A lot of us have already switched over to the Chef's Hat, but Lynn still has the Discover Tab. So she called to find out what was going on, and Lynn was told by a WW associate over the phone that this change is to see how people react to the Chef's Hat change versus how much the Discover Tab is used by those who did not have a change. So Lynn still has the Discover Tab. A lot of us still have a lot of us already have the Chef's Hat, and they are trying to see how that goes, how that works out. Hello Katie, and hello Sherry, how that works out. So apparently those of us with the Chef's Hat are a beta test, and it's looking like everyone will change to the Chef's Hat in the near future. People with the Discover Tab, if you still have the Discover Tab, wear it out and please tell them that you want to keep it, okay? Or at least tell them that we need an easier way to find it. So I still don't like the way you have to find it. Okay, so those of us that have lost it are panicking, man, okay? So we're all panicking. And hello, Joanna, it's good to see you. Okay, so I need to know who sat your bottom in a chair last week. So, yes, Debbie, those of us in beta mode got the Chef's Hat. Yes, we did. And apparently our complaining is not enough. But let's see some thumbs ups if you went to an in-person workshop last week and Linda's bottom was in a green chair. Good job. Thumbs ups for going to an in-person workshop, or if you attended a Zoom workshop last week. And let me see some hearts if you were here with us live. Actually, if you were there with us live at Casey Kitchen Center, but you know what I mean. So hearts for that. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, bravo everybody. Good job for attending your workshops, whether they were Zoom or in person, and for being here with us. So bravo. Here are your virtual bravo stickers for that. Good job, everybody. Okay, last week was chat number 302, and we were talking about how to build a tracking routine. And I asked, what do you think the number one thing is that's accredited to successful and long-term weight loss, like in keeping it off? Tracking. Of course, it was tracking. And then I said, okay, oh, and hello, Laura. And then I said, what do you also think is the number one thing that we all wish that we could do better, do faster, do more of, whatever? Also tracking. So why? We all know tracking works. We all know that it works. So why is tracking so hard? Number one reason, time. It can take some time. Number two is knowledge. Like, what if you don't even know what it is or how to track it or where to look it up or whatever? And number three is effort. It does take some effort. You have to do it. Like it doesn't just track itself. You have to do it. We also talked about the fact that consistency versus perfection is more important. So tracking something every day is more important than tracking something is more important than in a consistent manner is more important than being perfect. So like for me, I eat yogurt almost every single morning, and I had gotten into a habit of I was making myself look up what flavor of yogurt it was. So it's the same kind of yogurt, it's the same number of points every day, but I was making myself look up, is it cherry? Is it berry? Is it, banana cream? Is it vanilla? Is it whatever? Who cares? Who cares what? It was taking me forever because I was having to find the specific flavor. So now I just swipe to track because, I'm eating yogurt. Who cares what flavor it is? It's 2 points, okay? Doing swipe to track. And then finding out what works for you. So some Weight Watchers like to track, every meal, every day, every bite. Some people do that. That's not me. Maybe that's not you. Here were some ideas on how to make tracking just a little bit easier. One thing you could do is to do quick add. So when you go, and we're on my phone, so I can't show you again on my phone. And I'm sorry, let me just crack this door open. I've got something, my dinner is in there and I do not want it to burn while we're having the chat. Anyway, I could smell it. So I wanted to go ahead. It's so unusual for me to be home, so I'm able to cook my dinner while we are chatting. But quick add is a great way to get something in if you already have an idea of how much it is, of how many points it is, or even if you're just guessing. Like sometimes I'll quick add, when we were at KC Kitchen Center, if it was a food truck, I might just say food truck 30 points. If I had no idea what it was, but I knew it was a lot. Quick add's great for that. Multi-track. I showed you last week how to go in and do multi-track. That one's great if you have the same kinds of things, and you just want to track like, black coffee, yogurt, English muffin, banana, blah, 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 and do multi-track. Or saving meals, going ahead and saving those frequently consumed meals in there so that you can just track that, so you can track that meal. So your homework for last week was #TrackHack. And all you needed to do was decide what method you would use to track something last week. Just something. You didn't have to track everything, just something. So let's see how you do with that. Mary Ann's method for tracking was both paper and on the app. And y'all know I love it when you put pen to paper. Love it when you actually write things down. But she said it makes it easier for her to look back and see how things went because she can look at it, on paper. I don't know if you know this or not, but your app only goes back a certain number of weeks to be able to look and see what you had, a few weeks ago if you need to be able to look at that. But Mary Ann tracking it on paper too. She's got it right there if she needs it. Okay. Uh-oh. Debbie, I'll have to go back and read that in a few minutes. And then Tina found that creating a meal, so we were talking about creating meals just a second ago. And Scott tracks in the app and in a journal. That's a great idea too. Tina found out though that creating a meal for her commonly eaten together, food was such a time saver, such a huge time saver. And after saving it as a meal, she says you can track it as one thing and not have to do each individual item. So if you frequently have, I don't know, let me make something up. Well, let's go to the breakfast thing again. So if a common breakfast for you is yogurt and an English muffin and a cup of coffee, you can save that as, weekday breakfast or whatever that is. And then you can easily track it, and you can even save that to Siri. So if you have an iPhone, you can save it to Siri so that you can just say, hey, which I'm not going to say it or she'll try to track something, track breakfast 1 or weekday breakfast or whatever, and she'll go ahead and track it for you. And let's see, then Deanna, even with a gimpy arm. So Deanna, how's the hand treating you? But Deanna, even with a gimpy arm, says that she creates recipes, when she creates them, she goes ahead and includes the source of the recipe. So like if it was Frugal House or Creamy or something like that. So she has a Creamy and she uses it a lot, but she goes ahead and includes the source of the recipe in there so that she can use that to look it up later also. Fantastic ideas, everybody. Great job on doing your homework. Good job, good job. Hello, Janelle. So, extra Bravo stickers for doing your homework last week. I think y'all had a little bit of fun with it. I saw some really creative ideas, for how to track things, but good job, everybody, on your homework. And since we are not at Casey Kitchen Center, oh, good, yeah. I started to say, I keep glancing for the clock. I can't really see the clock that's over there. So y'all just have to keep me on time. This week, though, we're talking about creating a weighing routine. Weighing is probably one of our least favorite things unless we know we had a really, really, really good week and then admit it. Sometimes you're even afraid to weigh in when you when it's time to weigh in. And yeah, my hair is not blonde. My hair is not blonde today. I think it is the lighting, because we have a different color lighting here in the loft, and then these kind of blonde cabinets behind us. My hair is not blonde though. Okay, so how to build a weighing routine. So I need to see a show of hands. Who weighs yourself? Who of you who weighs yourself? Who does every day? Who weighs in every single day? So I need to see that show of hands. Who weighs in once a week? And then who only weighs in at a WW meeting, at a workshop or a meeting? Okay, so frequency doesn't matter. How often you weigh in literally doesn't matter, as long as you keep in mind that there are some things that the scale doesn't know. We're looking at this long term, and the scale doesn't get to be the judge of how you did for a week, for a day, for multiple times a day. I mean, I know people that weigh themselves in the morning and then weigh themselves again at night. So just as long as you know, frequency doesn't matter, as long as you know that this is over a long term and that the scale doesn't get to decide how you did, okay? So here are some great things to remember when it's time to weigh in. So I'm seeing lots of dailies and lots of once a weeks. Yeah, it's literally probably 50-50. So here are some things to keep in mind. Okay, the scale is stupid. It's just stupid. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Okay, Phyllis says it's a habit. It totally is a habit. Mary says it keeps her honest. Yeah, but the scale is stupid. And again, I don't mean that in a bad way. It just is. It's just not that bright, you know? It just isn't. So the scale has no way of knowing if you tracked every day. The scale doesn't know if you had too much salt with one meal. We have a lady in our in-person workshop there in Powell that if she has too much sodium, her body will hold between 7 and 10 pounds in fluids if she has sodium, too many days in a row. The scale doesn't know that. So, when she steps up on the scale, it doesn't go, oh, Jody, you added too much sodium to your 0 point carrots this week. And, there's 5 extra pounds for you. It doesn't know that. And it sure doesn't know if you're a good person or not, okay? The scale has no idea. So it's just a mindless, inanimate object, so don't give it any more credit than its brainless box deserves, okay? So it's fine to weigh. It's fine to weigh every day if you want to. It's fine to weigh once a week if you want to. It's fine to weigh periodically. I know some people that only weigh once a month once they've hit lifetime. Just as long as you know the scale is mindless, okay? It is mindless, and we're trying to look at this over time so that we can see, some trends. But if you're weighing yourself every morning and every night, that might be too much. So once a day, once a week, once a month, those frequencies are fine. Okay, when and where you weigh is totally up to you. There is no wrong way or right way when it comes to weighing. So as long as the weight that you're tracking is over time. So if you're tracking it over time, yep, and Lynn, you're exactly right. The scale is not the boss of you. And since we're at home, Dusty's going to do a lot of walking around because I can't trap him like I used to at Casey Kitchen Center in a chair. So hopefully he won't wander around too much. But so we're tracking this over time. So even if you weigh yourself every single day, we're tracking over weeks and months. Okay, so we're looking at long term. We're looking at these long term results that are going to go. Again, they're going to go like this over weeks and months, not every day. So if you get up and weigh yourself in the morning, and then brush your teeth, take a shower, wash your hair, have something to eat, change clothes, you know, whatever, and then you weigh yourself again at night. That's not, thank you, Rita, that's not a great example. That's not a great example of how you're doing, you know, with your weight. So we're looking at once a day is fine, once a week is fine, once a month is fine. The frequency, you know, as long as it's not a couple of times a day, that doesn't matter, because we're looking for long term over weeks and months. Okay, one of the ladies at our in-person workshop said, I thought this was a great comment. She still weighs every day, and I do too, but she said it's static. She said what she weighs at home every day is just static. It's a habit. Somebody said a few minutes ago, it's a habit. But she said that's just static to her. The one that makes a difference, so the only weight that matters to her is what she weighs at her Weight Watchers meeting every week, because it's the same day, it's the same time, it's the same routine, pre-weigh-in, so that's the only one that matters. So she's doing, you know, wearing similar clothes, but it's the same day of the week, same time, similar clothes, kind of the same routine, you know, building up to that during the day. So that's the one that matters to her. So again, it doesn't matter when or where or how often, you need to pick the one that works for you. And I was going to see, Debbie just made a great comment. Orlando Debbie says the scale at home and the scale at the meetings may not be calibrated the same. They absolutely are probably not calibrated the same. Yeah, they are probably not. And hello, Trish, it's good to see you. So those are probably not calibrated the same. The biggest thing is you got to decide, though, decide now what's going to happen then. So what I mean is decide now. So decide before you weigh what's going to happen. Hello, Kim. What's going to happen when you weigh. So no matter when and where you weigh, decide before you step on the scale what's going to happen after. So if you always have a splurge meal after you weigh in, have your pre-planned splurge meal no matter what happens. So if you got a surprise weight loss, don't turn your splurge meal into, you know, anything more than what you had planned before. But if you also had, excuse me, I have the hiccups all of a sudden. If you also had an unexpected weight gain, then don't let that, you know, ruin it either. So whatever you plan to do before you weighed, and you need to be making a plan, just continue that plan. So if you decided to make so like if you said, okay, I'm gonna weigh in today, I'm gonna do this once a week. I'm just gonna weigh in once a week, and then after weigh-in, I'm gonna go ahead, because I'm already alone, hubby's not with me, kids are not with me, you know, everybody else is at home being quiet. No, Dusty. No. Then, you know, if your plan was that after you weighed in, then you were going to go home or go somewhere quiet or whatever, and you were going to go ahead and make your meal plan for the week, then no matter what you weighed, so whatever the results were, if you're weighing, if they were what you expected or if they were what you wanted or if they were not, don't change your plan and go do something else. So make a plan for what you're going to do after you weigh, and then follow through with your plan. So don't let a surprise loss or gain or disappointing gain, you know, take you off from your weigh-in plan. So your homework for this week is hashtag weigh your way. So it's hashtag WEIGHYOURWAY. I'm so sorry. I'm going to get Dusty some water real quick. So when you're diabetic, you have to have water 24 hours a day. I am coming right back. So hashtag, and you know what? It's almost time for us to have some water. So maybe Dusty knew that. Maybe he knew it was getting close to the halfway mark. I'll be right back. Hashtag weigh your way. And what I want you to do with that is to tell us when and where you're going to weigh. It's that simple. So your homework for this week is that simple. It's and thank you, Lynn, for posting that. But it's hashtag weigh your way. WEIGHYOURWAY. So all you have to do for your homework is just tell us when you're going to weigh and where you're going to weigh. So if it's at home every morning, great. If it's once a week at your Weight Watchers meeting, fantastic. If it's once a week at the gym or every day at the gym, okay, so hold on. Kim has a great question. Hello, Stacy. Kim has a great question. She says, what are your thoughts? Drinking a bottle of water an hour before weigh-in could make you weigh 2 to 3 pounds heavier on the scale. Okay, and then it's abbreviated. I'm sure there's some more past that. I don't disagree with that. So I have a routine, and I think everybody should have a weigh-in routine. And some of your routine may be rituals, or it may be, I mean, like I have this, you know, I try to wear the same clothes. I try to keep the same shoes in my car. I don't eat anything right before I go. I don't drink anything right before I go. And then I pee right before I weigh. Every single week. I do that every single week before I weigh. So I think having a routine, you know, is a good thing. Okay, so do your homework, do your homework, do your homework. We are just about at the halfway point. And again, sorry, I keep looking at my watch, but I literally cannot see the clock over there, and I'm so used to checking the clock when we had been at Casey Kitchen Center. But I think, and thank you, Deborah, for posting that way your way. But I think that's a great idea to have a routine, ritual. You know, some people would call it a ritual. I try to choose the same scale every week, and I used to always go right, and now I almost always go left. So if Gwen and Debbie are there, and even another Debbie, I almost always go left and go way with Debbie. But I don't think that's a bad idea to have a routine. Just remember, do whatever you had planned to do before you weighed in. Stick to that plan no matter what. Okay, so we've been busy moving the last few days, so I'm going to go ahead and say that this is the halfway mark, even though it's not technically been 30 minutes. Everybody, it is time to grab some water, as evidenced by Dusty crying just a few minutes ago. He needed his water. So everybody go ahead and get a drink of water right now, and then we will start on the second half. See, Scott weighs in the same type of clothes at 7 a.m. every Saturday morning at his meeting, and he takes his water bottle along. No drinking beforehand, but he drinks after. Yep, exactly. Mary takes her coffee with her for weighing in after. Yeah, I don't think that's funny. I would totally do that. I mean, I would totally do that. And Deborah does wear the same thing. She's been wearing the same thing for weeks, yeah. So, yeah, I can't make myself wear the exact same thing, but it's pretty darn similar. Like, if you took a picture of me at the door every week, it's going to be pretty similar every single week. Okay, so new people, this is the halfway mark of chat number 303, and today is January the 15th. Go ahead and grab you some water. I'm going to get another sip. This is not coffee. This is just one of my, we're at home, so I can drink out of whatever I want to. It's one of my favorite coffee mugs. These are different posters from Disney, and this is one of my favorite mugs. No. We may have to go put him on the couch, or he's going to fuss. Okay, everybody grab the last little bit of your water while I go take care of Dusty. He is going to be a hey while we have to do these at home. Okay. So this has been we're at the halfway point of chat number 303. And we've been talking about weighing in, but at the beginning of tonight's chat, I gave a little bit of news that the egg drought, or whatever you want to call it, the egg shortage, is not going to be over anytime soon. And it has finally hit here. So I've been hearing reports of the price of eggs skyrocketing. I've seen some area, in some areas, I've been seeing pictures of empty shelves, but I thought, oh, it'll never happen here. As dramatic as it is in other areas of the country, usually everything by the time it reaches East Tennessee is way pared down. Okay, Scott, I'm sorry. Okay, this is totally inappropriate, but I have to comment on this. So Scott just said naked would be frowned upon at my meeting. Gwen literally said that Tuesday night. She was like, well, naked and this and that, and whatever. And I was like, hey, as long as you have your shoes on, because that's really our only requirement at our Weight Watchers meetings. Nothing says we have to be dressed. It just says we have to wear our shoes. So I'm just saying, if you were close to goal, I don't know, it'd be tempting. Okay, just kidding. So we were talking about eggs, and some of the news on eggs. I really didn't think it would ever hit here. Again, by the time things happen in East Tennessee, they're usually way pared down from wherever they started. But it's here. So the egg shortage and the increased prices on eggs, is here. 2 days ago, I went to a local grocery store called Food City, and they were down to 3 cartons of the brand type whatever you want to call it, of the eggs that I like. They were down to 3 cartons of those, and there was a sign posted that due to, and I don't remember the initials of this virus, but due to that and to the to the shortage, basically, that it was 1 carton per customer, and that's what you were limited to. Yesterday, now they did have some other types of eggs, but the kind that the brand and the type that I like, they were down to 3 cartons of those. So of course I snagged one of those. Then yesterday I had to run into Publix for something else that they only have at Publix, and their shelves were pretty darn bare. So what is up? I decided to spend the second half of tonight's chat, again, chat number 303. You can watch this again later on YouTube. That's just youtube.com. Search If You Have an Egg. And I was going to ask, okay, so for those of you who are saying what the price is, thank you, Melba, for saying where you are. So tell us where you are and how much they are right now, just out of curiosity's sake. So Melba says in Kalamazoo, Michigan, it's $8.99 for 18 eggs. So that must be is that like at Costco or something? But and yes, it is the chicken flu, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But so what's up? So why is there a shortage? Okay, so Scott said Wisconsin. So Scott's was, hold on. Scott's was $6.99. Oh, for an 18 count. Okay, for an 18 count, that's not terrible. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. Okay. $5.99. Katie says $5.99 a dozen in Minneapolis, and Melba says, okay, that was a local grocery store that had those in the 18. I guess have I bought them 18 at a local grocery store? I'm trying to think if I have. Let's see. Upstate New York is still $4 a dozen at Trader Joe's. I don't think that's too bad. Okay, so what is up? What is going on? So first thing that's going on is the avian flu. So apparently we are experiencing an unprecedented epidemic of a highly contagious avian flu. So we have avian flu every single year, but apparently this one's super contagious. Like 90 to 100% of the birds who contract it die. So 90% is a very high number. 100%, that'd be all of them. So if your little gaggle of chickens, if you were a commercial egg producer, and your laying hens, if it ran through your laying hens, you're done if it was 100%. That's crazy. So it has already caused the death of millions of egg-laying hens, either through the fast spread, either through how fast this is spreading. Because again, it's so fast, it's spreading so fast through, groups of chickens that 90 to 100% of them die once it starts, or through preemptive slaughtering in an attempt to get ahead of the virus. So we're not going to go into much detail on that, but there are some commercial layers, I don't know what to call them, that are having to preemptively, I will be gentle for our listeners who this would disturb, but they are, let's just say, thinning their herd, okay? I don't know what else to call that. Kim and Teresa are talking. Okay. But anyway, so there is some of that being done preemptively, trying to get ahead of the virus. Thank goodness they did not do that with us with COVID. So, yeah, to try and slow COVID down, thank goodness they didn't start thinning our herd, trying to get to the healthiest of the people. But anyway, okay, so that's the first thing that's going on. Culling, that's a good word. Culling is a good word, Sandra. So the second thing is California is being hit the hardest. And Carol says she hasn't checked the prices of egg beaters, but could that be an option? I mean, that's still eggs. Those are still eggs, so maybe not. I don't know. Okay, so California is the hardest hit because of Proposition 12. And if you've never been to California, and if you didn't know how many propositions they have, sorry, Californians. And if Julie's here, I'll go ahead and apologize now. But yeah, all of their propositions, like, I guess they're going to save California. I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. But because of Proposition 12, which was the 2018 Animal Welfare Initiative, and that just took effect last year. So Prop 12, which was from 2018, took effect last year. California is reliant on millions of cage-free chickens that have been hit hard by this fast-moving disease. Okay, so Prop 18 was a great thing, or Prop 12 was a great thing because it made Californians start focusing on, and y'all know I love cage-free chickens, but focusing on that, well, having all of your chickens out running around together, without being in a cage, once it hit, yeah, they were hit hard. So California has been hit the hardest. Oh yeah, and Debbie says there were no eggs at Sam's Club, but at BJ's the best was $7.99 for 24. That's actually not bad. And Nancy says it's $8.49 a dozen in Boston, Massachusetts. Wow. Okay. Number 3. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while for us to get over this. Okay. So I'm gonna read this. According to the New York Times, Lindsay Cole, who is a spokeswoman with the Agriculture Department's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. So this is from just the New York Times. So you can go to the NewYorkTimes.com and find this article. But Lindsay Cole, and there was a bunch of other information on there too, but this is the one thing that stuck out to me. Lindsay Cole, and she's a spokesperson with the Agriculture Department's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. Wow, I'd hate to have to tell people that every time I introduce myself. She said that even after facilities are sanitized and restocked with healthy laying hens. So, yeah, if you can find eggs, yes, you can freeze them, Debbie. But even after they are sanitized and restocked with healthy laying hens, it takes 4 to 5 months for them to reach peak productivity of about 24 eggs per month. So for every hen that they lost, that was 24 eggs per month. So think about it. If it was millions of hens, that's 24 million eggs. That's a lot. 24 million eggs that are just gone. All of a sudden they're just out of production, out of the cycle, of things. So there's that many that are gone. But it'll take 4 to 5 months. So I don't know, have any of you all ever raised chickens? So go ahead and raise your hand, give me a thumbs up or something, if you've ever raised chickens. So let's just talk about that for just a second. Oh yeah, and Debbie says this is not the most productive time of year for laying hens either. No. So the poor little mamas that are left to take up the slack. It's not like some other things. So if one hen goes down, the other hens don't take up her slack. Okay, they can only make so many eggs. Okay, and Lynn lived on a chicken farm once. That's perfect. Okay, so and Barbara has them in her backyard. Okay, so Barbara, since you currently have chickens in your backyard, correct me if I'm wrong. Once the hens start laying, oh wait, hold on a sec, just because I want to try and say this name. Anita says here in Snohomish, Washington, did I even come close? The eggs are anywhere from $8 to $10 per dozen, and she gave up eating meat, eggs, and dairy on January the 2nd. That is fantastic. Okay, so Barbara, let me ask you this. Since you currently have chickens in your yard, let me ask you this. So correct me if I'm wrong, but hens have to be a certain age before they can even start laying eggs. And then once they start, I don't remember how long it is because it's been a long time since we've had chickens. I grew up on a farm and we had chickens, but that's been 40 years ago. There's a period of time, even after they start laying them, that they're small, they're not quite right, they're like dinky eggs, whatever. So again, once they start repopulating, once they clean and sanitize and start repopulating these laying areas, it's going to take 4 to 5 months before these hens will be, laying normally formed and normally sized eggs 24 a month. the average of 24 a month. That's a lot. That means they also have to come up with, so if millions have died, so let's just pretend like it's 1 million. So if 1 million chickens are gone, where do you get 1 million laying hens from like that? Like where would you even get those from? That's a lot to make up. Okay, so it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while to make that up. Okay, number 4. Supply chain woes are at their best. Or worse. It should be at their worst. Anyway, they're at their best or worst. So if you don't know the phrase, if you're not awkwardly comfortable with the phrase supply chain by now, you just haven't been paying attention. Okay, so we have felt it especially hard in the construction supply industry. People working on houses, but it doesn't matter because they couldn't get doors, or couldn't get garage doors were a big thing for a while, or couldn't get trusses or lumber, or you couldn't leave the lumber at the job site because people would steal it. Or there for a while, I don't know about y'all, but there for a while, 2x4s. Okay, Debbie, you're jumping ahead. Slow down. There for a while, 2x4s were stealing 2x4s was almost as lucrative as stealing catalytic converters and copper wiring. Okay, it was pretty bad there for a little while. So in the construction industry, supply chain has been a thing for this last year and a half. But the egg shortage and the price hikes, those are also affected by increases in packaging. So there have been price increases in packaging. There have been shortages in packaging. There have been supply chain issues, with packaging. There have been delays with all that kind of stuff. Throw in a little bit, so have an increase in packaging, have an increase in labor, have a lack of workforce. All those things added together, and then kind of throw in a little bit of inflation, to kind of round that out, and you got yourself a little problem, a little supply chain problem with eggs, and some price increases. Okay, because I'm going to talk kind of fast because I don't know. I don't think Dusty's going to let us make it the whole 30 minutes. But anyway, he knows John's not here, and I think he's looking for him. He's just like walking around and around and around. Okay, the 5th thing is, we may not have eggs, but we do still have hope. Okay, so here are a few ideas to kind of get you through for the next little bit. And the first thing is raising your own chickens. So maybe you need to be like Barbara, and if you've got some room, if you've got somewhere to raise them, start raising your own chickens. You can go get diddles now. You can go to Rural King, or I don't know what y'all got where you live, but you can go get diddles. You can go get baby laying hens, and in 4 or 5 months, you'd have your own eggs. You would have that's exactly how we started, how we had chickens when I was growing up. My sister was allergic to the things that were being sprayed on, the pesticides and preservatives that were being sprayed on commercially gathered, produced whatever eggs. And so my dad started a little baby chicken ranch inside of our very small farm, just for that reason, because then we knew where the chickens had been. Nothing was sprayed on them. They were seriously, organic. So, okay, so you could, if you've got a spot, you might want to think about it. So call me crazy, but we have a nice spot for it in Casey's backyard, and and I've considered it for other reasons. So that's one thing, is if you could do it, can maybe consider raising your own chickens. I said when was it? When we were going to roll over, when it was Y2K, we were going to go over to the year 2000. Then no, Carol, no, you do not need to pasteurize eggs. No, they're good. They're good to go. Anyway, okay, y'all are jumping ahead. Slow down. Anyway, so it could happen. You could do it. You could have your own chickens. Okay. Or another thing you could do is finding a local supplier at a farmer's market. So maybe you could go to a farmer's market. You could go to a food co-op. Like we have food co-ops here. We have crop shares. I don't know what to call them when it's a chicken, but like we have a CSA here downtown. So we've got a CSA, it's just a crop share. And so you own a part of the garden downtown. There are co-ops for chickens, there are co-ops for beef, there are co-ops for, you know, all kinds of things. I don't know if every area, I'm sure, doesn't have them, but if your area has it, you might want to look into something like that. But again, a farmer's market, something local, maybe one of your neighbors. Like there is actually one of Casey's neighbors has chickens. They have chickens that they raise in their yard and they sell eggs. You know, my friend Bobby used to raise chickens, and her husband Roy was so funny because they would if you brought them egg cartons, they would sell you back eggs. Now they only had, you know, so many a week, but they would sell you back eggs. But Roy, because Roy knew that I had trouble hard boiling eggs, he would send back a dozen that were regular eggs, and he would send back a dozen that said HB, and he would go ahead and hard boil them for me. But anyway, you could do something like that. I mean, there's lots of people that sell eggs, you know, so you could try something like that, just, you know, to get yourself through. You might even like them, because I think fresh from the chicken butt eggs, I think those are the best. Okay, so that's one thing. Using egg substitutes is a great idea. So you can use them in baking or in cooking. According to Gemma's Bigger, Bolder Baking, and I'm going to link that in the notes, or Jessica will link that in the notes, that she will be publishing in the next couple of days. But Gemma, it's Gemmas, Gemma's Bigger, Bolder Baking. She says the most commonly substituted items for eggs while baking are mashed bananas. I'll be right back again. Okay, we're not doing chats from home anymore if John's not here. I'll be right back. And Debbie, what does that say about Joan? Okay. And when you get to be Dusty's age and you can't get up on the couch by yourself, you got to interrupt Mom's live chat to come put you up. Okay, so Gemma's Bigger, Bolder Baking. These are the most commonly, so in her recipes, these are the most commonly substituted items for eggs in baking: mashed bananas, applesauce, silken tofu. Good to know, I had not considered that in baking. Ground flaxseed mixed with water. Has anybody ever tried mashed bananas? I have definitely tried. Applesauce I have tried. I have not tried, oh Mary, he's not that pitiful. He's not that pitiful. He's just old and he wants me to come and help him right then. But I've done mashed bananas. I've done applesauce. I had not thought about silken tofu. We'll definitely be keeping that one in mind. She says ground flaxseed mixed with water. Has anybody tried that as an egg substitute? Never thought of that. Okay, yogurt, dairy-free or regular. I've also tried that. Buttermilk. Okay, Carol Lou has done the applesauce. Buttermilk, I've not tried using buttermilk in substitute for an egg, or sweetened. What he's doing, I wish y'all could see Dusty. He's just like, he's looking at me like, I'm gonna make a fuss. I'm gonna make a fuss, and you're gonna have to talk about me again, which we are doing. Okay, so mashed bananas I've done, applesauce I've done, silken tofu, gonna be trying that. Ground flaxseed mixed with water, never thought about that. Seems a little complicated. That's why I'm curious if anybody's done it. Yogurt, I've done that. Buttermilk and sweetened condensed milk. Those were some ideas. Yep, Barbara's done applesauce and bananas, but those were some of her ideas for doing egg substitutes. So wait in baking especially. Or you can use a product. So you can use an egg replacer product. So y'all know, or most of y'all know, those of you that have been around for any length of time, y'all know that my mother was vegan. She was only vegan later in life, and it was for health reasons. So she, hold on a second. Debbie said you can make buttermilk by adding vinegar or lemon to regular milk. Ooh, yeah. And yeah, Sandra. Sandra says build him steps. Yeah, he's just, He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. He's just too lazy. He's just too lazy. Okay, so again, y'all know that my mom was, oh wait, okay, so hold on a second. Okay, so Barbara, you said this a minute ago, and I am going to get sidetracked. So Barbara says the juice of chickpeas, whip it up. So explain, because I've not seen that. So Barbara just a second ago, or just a minute ago, had said something about chickpeas. Okay, so now she's saying the juice of chickpeas to whip it up. So can you explain that, or has somebody else tried that? Anybody tried that? Because I'm interested to know what you all are talking about. Because y'all know I'm game for anything. I'll try just as long as it's not cottage cheese. You know, I'll try just about anything. But my mom was vegan, and she liked to experiment a lot. Again, this was later in life, so this was not like she didn't grow up vegan. She didn't, convert to veganism when she was, in high school or a teenager or whatever. It was later in life for health reasons. But such significant differences in her health after she became vegan that I still do a lot of the things that she used to do just to try, to get ahead of where her and my dad were at when she decided to make significant health changes, and my dad decided he was just going to ride it out. He was just going to, woohoo, ride that pony on out of town. Okay, so one of the things that my mom used to do is she used an egg replacer, and her favorite egg replacer is called, the company is called Energy, and that's the one that she used. And it's just an egg replacer, and it's a culinary egg substitute. Gluten-free, wheat-free, no preservatives or artificial flavorings or sugar added, and there's no cholesterol. And with this, and I'm going to try and see this with my glasses on, you can make whipped cream with this. You can make, you can use it in pancakes. You can use it to make a sponge cake. You can make muffins. You can do an orange mousse. You can do a tart filling, banana, what is this? Banana something or the other that I can't read. Lemon pie filling, quiche. You could make quiche. I want you all to see this picture right here. That is a quiche. My mom made this for me when she was still alive. She used to make quiche with this egg replacer, and it's freakishly like an egg. Okay, also this was like a little mousse. It was perfect. And let's see, I'm trying to see if there's one, well, and a lot in baking. Okay, so this is the brand that my mom used to make, or used to use, and it's made by Energy, and it's just called Egg Replacer. So that's the brand that she used to use. I will also have Jessica link these in the chat notes. So you can use Eggylicious. Eggylicious is whole egg protein powder. So, okay, hold on a second. Orlando Debbie found it. So it is, oh, and Scott found something too. So Debbie says chickpea called aquafaba under Go Dairy Free, and she has linked that if y'all want to see it. Scott says that Google says 3 tablespoons of chickpea juice can replace 1 egg. So chickpea juice, like you drain it from the can, or like you're pureeing the chickpea? Which one? Do y'all have any idea? Because now I'm color me intrigued. I'm intrigued on what that is. But so there are lots of different products like this. Again, this is an egg replacer. Really? You just drain the juice from the can? Okay, now we got to try that. What? We've got to try that. Okay, yeah, y'all are all just saying drain from the can. Okay, we're definitely trying that. Like, not right now, even though I have like 8 cans of chickpeas over there. Yeah, definitely trying that just to see how that works. Okay, but so this is an egg replacer. Again, Jessica will, she'll post the link for these in the chat notes. So those will be on www.ifyouhaveanegg.com, and so these links will be on there in case you want to go check any of these out. But one is called another, this one's not an egg substitute. Oh man, and Scott says he's tried it before and he's not intrigued. Maybe I should get somebody to TikTok it and see how you're supposed to do it. But there's a product called Eggylicious. It is a whole egg powder. So it has the white and the yellow from the egg, but it's a powder, and it's called Eggylicious. There's another one that's called Just Egg, and it's a liquid. You can get it at Whole Foods, or there's going to be a link to it on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. And Bob's Red Mill has an egg replacer that's a lot like this one. Comes in a bag, like a zipper top, bag, and that's Bob's Red Mill egg replacer, or you can use something similar. Okay, and Anita says, I made a tofu scramble for breakfast, and it had creamy mushrooms, onions, potatoes, and extra firm tofu. So delicious. I'm with you. So Anita, I want to know, do you put anything in yours to make it yellow? So do you feel like you need it to be the kind of yellowy color of an egg? Or, are you good with it being tofu color? Okay, so last thing I'm going to say, okay, yep, it's about time to wrap up, is if you want to try an eggless recipe, the one that Anita just shared would be fantastic. But you can go on over to IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, and my mom used to make, so you can go try a yummy, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. You can go look up some yummy vegan or vegetarian recipes that don't have eggs in them. They have egg substitutes, egg replacements, something that's used in place of an egg. Or you can go to IfYouHaveAnEgg.com and search for egg salad, and you'll find my mom. So it's Nana's Eggless Egg Salad recipe. It is fantastic. I would have made some tonight to just to show you all how good it is. But the bowl it makes, I'm not kidding you. Make it when you can share it with friends. It is huge, but it's so good that when I do make it, I'll eat it for days. It is so good. But it is made out of firm tofu, and it has turmeric in it to make it yellow, and it's got like some diced onions, green onions, and some other things. But it tastes like you would not know. If I made some and served it to you right now, you would not have any idea that it was that it was tofu. You would be convinced that it was egg salad. But that's already on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, and it's just called Nana's Eggless Egg Salad. I promise it will help satisfy your egg craving. It'll help satisfy it. Okay, and Vicki just asked a really good question. She said, what is firm tofu? Is that regular tofu? So tofu comes in different firmnesses, and it pretty much has to do with how much water has already been pressed out of it. So there is silken tofu, there's regular tofu, firm tofu, extra firm, and extra firm or extra firm is the best texture for making something like this. And people who are not a fan of tofu maybe have not had it prepared properly. And no, Carol Lou, right now, tofu does not, on the new Weight Watchers program, tofu does not have points unless it has something added to it that has points. So basically it would be like an egg, just an egg doesn't have any points, just some tofu does not have any points, but neither of those would you just eat without doing something to it. So we can go on and on and on. Maybe we'll talk about tofu next week, especially if we have to have the chat here at home again. Anyway, so those are some great ideas for trying to make it through this egg pandemic that we're going through right now. But even if you can't get any eggs, we still have hope, okay? So I know this is called If You Have an Egg, You Have Hope, but even without eggs, y'all still have hope. So thank you all very much again. Thank you for being so patient while we are moving. Again, we're probably 20% of the way done. Probably have about 3.5 weeks left, so you're just gonna have to hang in there with me for 3 to 3.5 weeks because we're gonna be tired by the time it's done. But if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and let that next video roll on over. I promise you'll enjoy it, and then don't forget to subscribe, and go ahead and click that little bell. For the rest of you that are just if you've already subscribed on YouTube and you're just watching it, please go ahead and like it. You wouldn't believe how many people I talk to every week that are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know where to start, or I didn't know how to track it, or I didn't know what nutritional yeast was, or whatever, but I accidentally found your YouTube because somebody had liked it, a few people had liked it, or somebody had shared it or something like that. So it's very important that we share with other people, other like-minded people that are like us. So again, go ahead and let the next video roll over if you're watching this on YouTube. Subscribe, and go ahead and click that little bell. But you all have a fantastic week. Keep praying for us as we move. Yeah, it's rough, especially as old as I am now. I'm getting too old to do this, but y'all have a great week, and I will see you next time. Good night.